Radio Democracy go talk to the press secretary and status. Yusuf Keketoma Sandi we can't about waiting president we don't do for showcase salon all over the world. Well, from where this administration take up office from April 2018 to now, the president, Dr. Julius Madabio, don't do different international trip them. And most times, some of them trip here, people can get concerned with them. As concern can they on order to fund the trip them. And waiting the president to bring back calm na the country, where it don't do them different international trip there. So, well, for let people can know the different trip them, where the president don't do, and how this do help for showcase and give salon a positive name na the world, and also how the country don't they benefit from the international trip there. So where the president don't do. Once more, one say good morning to Keketoma Sandi and welcome to the program. Good morning, salon.
Thanks for having me, and it's always a pleasure for those tonight and talk about what president don't do at home or internationally.
Okay, so now let me look at the international trip them where the president don't do so far, because that's one issue where plenty people can get concerned. But so from April 2018 to now, almost international trip where the president don't do so far.
Well, we don't do a lot, but I think you go find make a good context. You know, by 2018 when the president take over as a country, we all know say in 2017. The international financial institutions, like for instance, and other donors like IMF, the World Bank, African Development Bank, they all be done suspend them budgetary support to Salon because they believe say at that time they, the country be done lost them confidence because of the way how the past government will deal with them. So when president take over, he be get poku thing we want do. But one strategic thing we will achieve now for make sure say we gain with international credibility. And we make sure say we get the trust and confidence of development partners, but also for rebrand with international image. Because I still remember say at one point in time we even go Japan. We go Japan, they will tell you one go lodge. Now and then tell me say no, president delegation no go lodge now because the other government will be there, then can't take hotel and not pay bill. So as minute as that one, they tell you the dent where the country we don't get internationally. But then going forward, waiting we do not the fact say at that point presidents will get two choices for make. One, we for use the Rwanda experience. Rwanda way and President Kagame come, is spending millions and millions of dollars, for make sure say they rebrand Rwanda, for make sure say they get international institutions them, bodies them, where really they pay for rebranding country. But we don't get that money there. So I'll give for instance, Rwanda alone. Then get what they call the sleeve sponsorship project where they get with Arsenal Football Club. Just for me they write on Arsenal and sleeve, visit Rwanda. Then they pay £10 million a year. And it's a 4 years contract. When we say they pay £40 million a year. So we don't get that money there. We don't get that money there. Because that money there, if we get them, we go probably build more classes, more classrooms, them, more schools, buy more books or picking them, and all that. So what did the president decide for do? President decide for say, okay, we don't get that money there for pay international institutions then for make them do public relations for you. Make her work hard for make sure say this country will be transformed to be a progressive country. We go attract the confidence of the national community. So waiting president do. President make sure say at home we begin to policies them, we begin to good governance things there, we begin reform laws them, boku thing them. So at the end of the day, we see say in these past 4 years, we don't get boku international institutions them. We don't rate Salon because of what you don't do at home. So I'll give you a few instances. The World Press Freedom Index, we don't move Salon from 75th place to 46th place because of what you don't do, just how don't protect journalists them and because they don't repeal the seditious libel law. It not stop the Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative. For the first time, very recently, then go State House. The report we them produce, we get overall score, one of the highest, 87.5. It not stop the Millennium Challenge Corporation. For 4 consecutive years, we will pass them. Now we don't develop the program for do the compact. We make sure say Salon right now, we don't only protest for develop the compact. We not stop there. Transparency International, we don't also increase the ranking. So all them international institutions there don't make sure say all waiting president we don't do. Because I tell you say when you want for deal with international institutions or regain Salon in credibility, the institutions they're working at the world, when they monitor countries, when they look how countries they progress, then for able to talk, say, no, this president, he don't do boku today, he don't do boku today in country. This president, he don't move in country from this position to this position. So now I make argue just that overview there of just the international credible institutions they are going to Salon. But then trip they are waiting in. Now you realize, say, come, presidents focus on the free quality education because it's a human capital development. Now something going at the tool for sustainable development. So as a result of that, president don't make sure say we don't do plenty things in a salon. And then say we don't do, it don't give we international credibility and platform them with president they hold. So I'll also give you an instance. 11 years of the former president's way there, we remember say the only things on the way the former president be there, now where he be head the chair for African Union, the C10, the committee where they look for reform United Nations. But because President Bio, during entry there, during their engagement there, they don't engage world leaders, credible institutions. President Bio, in these 4 years, and I go make you check other heads of states them in 4 years, who are the old kind positions there, with President Bio the whole. So I will also give you an instance. President Bio alone, now the chairperson for African Peer Review Forum of Head of States. Now the co-chair, where they go chair, transforming education. The biggest global stage for education in the world.
Some of them position there, so where you want for use as a yardstick, say, now because of President Bio in Waka, way they do all over the world. I want for you also know, say, some of them three players on rotational positions. It just happens, say, that during President Bio in terms of presidency, Salon turn rich.
Well, this is the first time at the world where the world they come together for global education. Now the first time, it's not about rotational. So we mean say, now the first time where they take president, imagine all the heads of state in the world, then choose president of Africa, small country, then say, you can chair the Transforming Education Summit, the biggest global platform for education, then put on there. Now the first time may be rotational. When you say rotational, I think them, for instance, where UN they meet every year, ECOWAS they meet every year, Africa Union they meet every year. But the things that what they tell you, I think that for the very first time it happened, the high-level steering committee on education, now the UN, President Bio, now in the chair and the co-chair with the General and UNESCO. So it means say all the time they happen for the very first time. But you know, only stop there as well. The UN Secretary General, he choose President Bio among 5 leaders. Them say, una now they can't champion education. You for responsible for early learning. We mean say we picking small. President Bio now for focus on how the world for make sure say we put programs together, activities together for make sure say we support early learning. So all the thing they tell you say because of President Bio, these 4 years we don't do. Now this country, the work we don't work, the reforms we don't do, the world don't recognize, don't give place this credible government.
So looking at the overview we don't get, I asked you earlier, say like almost scrape the president on from 2018 to now. Because plenty people get the perception say President Bio don't travel past other presidents.
Well, you go travel because when you take a country where international image dent, I'd say 2017, IMF, World Bank, Africa Development Bank, they all left the country. It means say you not go just sit down at salon for make you engage them and then come back. You get for travel, you get for go meet them, you get for go to international platforms then for make you explain what you don't do so far. But then the question you always ask now, how then trips here don't translate to Sierra Leone in benefits when I want country.
Mr. Sandi, while you talk, you go also find they get some clarity for the benefit of listeners. Them, you make mention about 2017 international donor them, where you say left the country, and as of then tending the last because of some of them conditionality they give to the government, for example, for remove subsidy barriers and fuel, and the government by then not be feel say that's not be appropriate step for take. Where President Bioka in 2018, he go back to the reverting and conversation, he accept to some of their own conditionality, we make many people feel say today that that's not the reason we make prices of fuel, rest, and other things that will be get subsidies they go.
Well, you not just stop there. There are many things there.
Namely,
I mean, IMF, of course, then we get serious problem with the government accountability and transparency mechanism. Because they feel say the government very corrupt. Because we don't know they give them money.
you get evidence
they expect
to that effect.
the evidence so you forget now the fact say IMF World Bank, African Development Bank, they all know the set conditions then for increase, say, you get for put increments per fail. No, because for instance, African Development Bank, also dangle than for. African Development Bank, then therefore supports you, give you budgetary support and boku things there. But when you see, say, they all come together, the World Bank, the IMF, African Development Bank, and say, this government, then to corrupt, no go. But it they tell you the extent to which donor confidence be don't drop in this country. So when you get a president we come, you get for make sure say for regaining trust and confidence then they, you get for make sure say you make some of them trips then they, you go to you partners them to countries them where obviously they align with your thoughts. And many places the outside presidents bio, people respect her because of human capital development. But the Sarah Bwango Dija, now that people like you always they ask say, okay, we don't make all them trips there. How some of them trips here also don't try for translate to
before
people
look at the
ordinarily.
benefit of the NTKP, look at the perception with certain people and get some of the good relationship with President Bio don't create already international. Why you think they're not visible to certain people, then still get a negative thought on then different TKP?
Well, everybody in life you get a choice. I mean, if I sit down before you, I wear white clothes, you can decide to say this clothes you wear in a black. Or this not pink. Now a choice you get.
But you don't think they matter to the people for let them feel convinced because normally people can get the belief say if the president they travel not the interest of the public.
Well, but people are convinced. But then if you choose not to convince because of your politics, that is a choice that you make. Because definitely people are with the opposition and not glad the president goes down at the same chair with the UN Secretary General. Because they go feel say, this man here so. Or all the heads of it they were there. Why not no more go sit down there? And never glad if president, for instance, go to Paris where they invite them on the pre-summit for transforming education, then they say, President, now you know the co-chair for the high-level steering committee, you sit down with the Director General UNESCO. We're not a big portion of the world. And never glad because of the politics. Because they go feel say, why now you know more? And never glad if African Union say, okay, President Bio, you don't do beaucoup things for good governance in your country. You can be chair of the APR Forum of Head of States there, where they monitor countries on how the democracy they go. They not go happy and not go glad.
During the term where they give you overview of waiting presidents build on do, especially in terms of in traveling them, you make mention of the gains them where the president don't make both internationally and home. Internationally, you make mention of restoring donor confidence. And home, you talk about policies them where presidents be don't put for ensure say all Sierra Leoneans get a very comfortable life. Them policies there we they talk about. One question we go they run through many Sierra Leoneans in mind now that then really they work, how they don't they work for reflect on the lives of Sierra Leone. For example, President Biwe come and make a lot of economic policies, but with all them policies then they opt in now, the economy they get a serious challenge.
Well, I mean, I can always say President Bio is unfortunate because it takes a country at a time where the world economy, world incident, the world activities them they overtake them. So for instance, come after 1 year, where you don't do all them good plans, them good things them for free college education. What's happen? Now we realize say COVID come. COVID affected all economies, all countries in the world. And because of that, then they get rippling effect. But presidents, now somebody where you know just say because of COVID, you not go do what you want for do. You talk about many things the way how this don't affect people's lives. Now you have one cancel. Some of them trip that way president don't go. I tell you say, firstly, if they make sure say where you go, if they get enough donor support and confidence for what you do in a salon. So I'll give you an instance.
We don't
so
need
just
talk about the trip again.
No, at the camp,
Question,
at the camp
you don't
to
talk about the trips. You also talk about home. Now home now they talk about.
Yes.
We make mention of policies where say presidents they don't put in place. So the question, are these policies working?
The policies are working. I just want to explain to you how some of the gains they will make internationally don't translate to home. So if you give me small chance, I go do them. Then I go also give you a list of policies the president don't do for affect the ordinary man. So, for instance, during COVID, president say people in there were, for instance, na the hospitality industry. Because of COVID affected their lives. So therefore, who said them be the work, who says not be the run, because of COVID. So what the president do? So president make sure say he give them cash transfer. He give about more than 2,000 hospitality workers them physical money cash transfer. He give them. But you not stop there. He look at the informal sector traders, 29,000 of them. You remember where they do this safety net cash, they go to Dombe, they go na Abacha, they give money. They do that one day. This is a direct impact to people in life. Yeah? But you not only stop there. President also make sure say there are people where they call extremely poor and vulnerable people. He also give them back cash transfer. About 35,000 of them. In fact, in the budget where they put back, they realize say we get for an extra 35,000 back of them people in there. So these are policies where they affect people in life ordinarily. But then the free quality education now the biggest transformative thing where they affect positive life. So then what go Cambia? No, I want to give you an instance. What go Cambia? We go now one section. The chief will be there. He talks say he gets 16 picking them. He said out of the 16 picking that we get, he said 8. Then they go school. And say, Mr. President, if not to be you, free quality education, then the 8 picking there, they're not for the go school. So if they tell you, say, just by the free quality education, it they affect people in life them and touch them and improve them and transform them ordinarily. But me and you sometimes way, because sometimes, I don't know if you picking sometimes in a school now or you wait them call it no go affect them. But when you go across the country, you go realize say people they give testimony of Benton and
but you are aware say all learning in the way you state so not to see we new, especially during the COVID, where affects many countries in the world. Governments then do lots for cushioning the economy. For instance, some even country them, then they remove subsidy on lots of things them just for make people uncomfortable during them that pandemic period.
Yes, but you say things they will not affect people in life. I could also go further. What you do, we also make sure say during all them period there, we get what them call duty and taxation on rice. In fact, just rice alone, for me to make sure say country like Liberia, no what they come, important. Country like Liberia, then get rice shortage. Salon, we get rice. Yes, it's expensive, it's up because of we know they're able to get control over the forex internationally, okay? Because of the freight and few other things there. But we get rice in the market. Countries then, for instance, like Ghana, then just don't go to IMF, say, hey, IMF una help we. Because this country, how the economy you don't bad. These cities, we always they say we don't say you do well. We see these. We see the city in Ghana, it depreciates more as against the dollar than loans. So when they tell you, say, all of them things they are so, nothing the way we as a government would they take concrete steps then for make sure see whether they're internationally or locally, president is trying to do things that affect people in life.
So looking at all in transformation, yeah, so and also how people don't they benefit from different treatment with president beyond the unique example of the cash transfer. Is it that some of them benefit here just for certain people or not all Sierra Leonean king, directly benefit from this? Because most time people can talk as if none of them will not ever happen. It's like nothing has been done for them put things in place for cushioning the hardship of the people.
Like I say, there is politics, there is governance.
So you think politics don't be the...
Yeah, of course. What should a governance? If, for instance, person in the opposition, president go launch Munafa Fund, where, for instance, the Munafa Fund now, it benefits about 60,000 people. Okay? Where they give money microcredit at a lower interest rate, where 77% of them are women them. If them people that don't benefit all, you because of politics, you say, this year I not see them, now choice you get for make. But what I go tell you now this. Silence, then are people away, we very smart, we very intelligent, we follow up all them things then they. When the time come, people then go able to differentiate between the politics and the governance. And I go assure you say, but people in there where go give testimony of what this government don't do.
Okay.
But people don't benefit. And that Munafa Fund be just an example what you see, where president put in place to make you see the small and medium term enterprise there, especially women them and young people them benefit from a microcredit scheme, we get a lower interest rate.
Okay, continue for day with me in case it's just a tuning and join me inside the program Good Morning Salon. You dey listen to Yusuf Keketoma Sandi, press secretary in status. We don't begin for talk about things and where President Bio don't do for showcase salon all over the world, and also how some of the international trip here where the president don't they benefit people directly.
All right, right, we continue with the program. Good morning, Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We still get the press secretary, where na Yusuf Keketoma Sandi. Today na the program, they talk about the difference in them way President Bill don't do for showcase Salon all over the world. It starts for talk about the president in different international trip them, or don't talk about President Bill in policy them for develop the country. Now come back to some of them trip there so what they talk about, and anybody don't follow President Bill in trip them. Whenever una can come back from the trip, then they, either you or anybody in the president in communication team can come and tell Salon people about the different things them and waiting some of them trip there so go benefit the citizens them. Some time back, the president been go China, we get for do it agriculture projects. The other time, the president be also we come on inform the public about a bread bakery and so many things them. It don't take small time on accommodate trip then day, but up till now, none of them thing then day where the president been go pa Salon people and not see it, especially the all get for do that China Rest project and the bakery.
Well, me don't know it's not China Rest project actually. And I ever visit president ever go China, I can't talk say go China for us. One day president all do that one day.
Get for do with the Ministry of Agriculture.
Yeah, now Vietnam.
Okay,
Vietnam. Okay, so now Vietnam.
Project where they in connection of the Toma bomb project.
Okay, so now Vietnam. But we go Vietnam. We not talk say president not talk say we left here we go na Vietnam for go take rest. And we come back we not say na rest we come for. What happen? We'll go UN, and part of the meetings are on the margins, president get engagements with the Vietnamese president. So just as part of this credibility where presidents don't create in the world. So now in the Vietnamese president and with foreign ministry now, they put together a bilateral meeting between the young president and the Vietnamese president. In that meeting, they like I always do, they corner, they take notes. The president of Vietnam was very impressed about what President Bill don't do in this country. And in fact, he say, Salon and Vietnam, they get similar type of history because them say be the power and non-commodity now, they get fertile soil, all anything and the agriculture good for them. In fact, now he tell President, he say, he go find Mr. President, if una can Vietnam, me una can see waiting we don't do. How don't transform from a country where be the power and fat and waiting now don't make sure say with the export rest in the world. So that visit there, they make an inside match. In fact, immediately after that visit there, what's happening? There is a company where they call Agimex. Yeah, Agimex immediately talks to them for invest $20 million in this country on agricultural sector. So now the immediate quick impact project done there. But with all of them, they normally waiting can happen. Like when you go them meetings then there are always follow-ups. That follow-ups now the Minister of Agriculture will follow up with counterparts of the other country or sometimes with the investor, they will get interest for make team Canada, then can watch outside they want invest, then can see what they want for do, and can put structures in place. So all of them they sometimes can take time. It can take time because they get to set up the right vehicle and the right structure. But we also get trip that we don't do, we don't get physical thing that we don't see. So I'll give you an instance. Years ago, we go to Senegal. Or go to Senegal and president go meet with the Suma Group. Because by then, Suma Group, then be the biggest conference in Senegal. You know, say Suma Group now a Turkish group. Now, when then the Senegal, president engage them in Senegal. We engage in Senegal, now I tell them, say, they go find for make una can salon and can explore opportunities them for can invest in salon. Immediately then I say, Mr. President, we don't read beaucoup about your country, we trust you, you get good ecosystem for make sure say the business climate go well and make we invest and get repatriation for whichever we get forget. After that one day, Suma Group come. So now physically, if you go Lunge, you go see say Suma Group now done the bill, almost the complete. More than 70%, and they complete now a new brand new airport. Physical things you they see. Okay? So it means say some of them trip away president they go, there's always physical aspect to it. But not just stop there. Sometime back, we go na Global Education Summit na London in 2021. We'll go there and be vice president because it was the biggest gathering where they raised about 4 billion for education. Okay? And part of that also means say, when president they get engagements then. But some of the money by the raise, they also promised they will give Salon about $22 million for support for free education. So now GP don't confirm, say, yes, and they give you this money for support education. It also means, say, we go back 2021, now America, Washington. President get meeting with the head of World Bank. After that meeting there, no, I can't, because you always they talk, say, waiting would they get people going to see them. So I just give you an instance of thing they also how they go, where to they get, and how they come. Because some of these things, when they come, for instance, they can't support, some of them are grants. They can't support, for instance, the free quality education. So even World Bank now they don't confirm, say by next year they give about $40 million as additional financing on free quality education. So it means, say, money they all go take for buy textbook, for buy teaching learning materials, and boku in them. The school feeding program, for instance, before 2018, now be only 2 districts, Koinadugo and Falaba, and then the benefit from school feeding. Now, we do expand them to 14 districts. We'll get over 600,000 picking them with the benefit by school feeding. That is all now because of president engagement the way he make. So these are actual impact things them where they impact ordinary people.
So you want to say if president be not do any international trip in any way, then progress and growth here not going to be reflective in the lives of Salone people then?
No. But I don't give the Muna for fun. Muna for fun, also international trip will go. This the president now look say, yes, COVID don't affect boku people within a small and medium term enterprise them. How go help them for make sure say rather than go to a bank for go take microcredit where the interest rates very high, now get a scheme and a system wherein we self go put money, allocate money, and give them for a lower interest rate. And now 6,000 people they benefit from that day. 70% are women there. Person don't travel. No, now I see them and then make sure say we get them going. Yes.
Then President Bill in TPR what they talk about, and where they tell people and waiting don't come out from the trip there. So you think it really worth it for like because we president they travel, not so cheap trip. People and for the part of in delegation where they get lots of per diem. We don't they see evidence the way journalists then they bring out say na so then transfer for president one of in trip them. You think say it worth them because na Salone people and money the president they use for do them trip here.
Yes, but Dija, if President Bio go na London, he go na Global Partnership for Education Fund, right? He go make sure say Salone get $22 million. Where the trip will go, it not even cost now probably sometime less than $100,000. Okay? We get $22 million. We go to America. World Bank, they give you $40 million as additional financing. Okay? We go Qatar state visit. In fact, the Qatar state visit will go, then we send plane for president for can take up. But if we go there, the Qatari Foundation now don't confirm, say by next year, they give you $15 million for support out of school children, about 45,000. All of them stuff and they you go watch me and tell me say no, president for visit because it costs money. No. Okay. Because some of them visit and it need even cost me because when they pay the plane flight because they give me the plane for good day.
Okay.
But president for go because it got to make sure we strengthen bilateral relationship.
And one other important issue about them different things here, so as in the travel them, where President Bio don't do the concern, we don't be topic of discussion among people them. Now, other key responsible financially for them trip there, so where President Bio don't know because most time people can look say if you look at almost people can they part of the trip, waiting that they spend if really it can commensurate to waiting back then trip here they bring back home.
Yes, of course it can be very commensurate. Now you ask who that they spend, of course not government. Because president and head of state, not president. So we elect him for make a represent your interest, may represent the country. So therefore, if president they go inside, a government go responsible. I mean, like all other heads of state. So you know, unique to president. I don't give you a start. I tell you, see, Rwanda alone, they spend £10 million every year just for make Arsenal then Jazzy the right the visit to Rwanda.
But you think that example in any way fit into this particular discussion?
No, yes, because it tells you how other countries that they spend a lot of money just for writing a t-shirt, as opposed to president where sometimes if you want to go to UN or Washington, or for instance go to Qatar, when a Qatari they even get a plane can take I go, if they go there back, they will get $15 million extra from the Qatari Foundation. It's different from where I go tell you, say, president go to Washington, go to UN, and UN will go get meeting with the World Bank president. They don't give you $40 million additional financing, you know. So it means, say, whatever we spend per then trip there, it's very minute. Now just a drop in the big ocean. And whatever would they get from that one day, not commensurate,
You know they compare Rwanda economy to that of Salon, Keke.
Yes, no, you need to compare, but what they tell you, say, that other countries there, they spend loads and loads of money. So we say, who come, you understand, now be choice you go for make. But we not get that money there for spend. And because we not get that money there for spend, I make president say, okay, I not get money for spend, but make sure, say, I do work where go be progressive, I do work where go respect international financial institutions and credibility in this country, I do work where go make sure, say, we showcase Salon. So because of all the work then it go attract the international community for making them say, Salon na serious country. This president will get integrity. This president will forward looking. For the very first time, you see say you get a president where we don't repeal the criminal seditious libel just like that. We don't take 55 years. We don't abolish death penalty. We don't enact the Gender Equality Women's Empowerment Act. These are big things.
In all of them, 3PL they talk about Keke today, where the president is ready for go. You go come to the public and inform them with a press release, list all the people or the part of that particular delegation. But all of a sudden, you just stop for one. Why?
Well, I can always say that anytime we go, most times, if we come out alone, we go overseas, you look at the trip they make, you look at the people that we go with, you understand? Welcome, 2018. Now me begin publish the list, okay? But then sometimes we didn't travel in there. Now travel away sometimes, for instance, I'll give you an instance. The number of people that we can get, sometimes, let's say, we go to other country then and say, okay, then we'll send to a plane, okay? The plane is smaller than the people that we don't put. So it can drop people in. So it can be premature, for instance, you don't show list, where at the end of the day, some people and therefore drop down because sometimes the capacity of the plane not enough and all that kind of thing, So, but on a case-by-case basis, now something way I can do, But so I not just stop because of our stuff.
Earlier, you talk about an engagement where you say the president being gets na Senegal, we been visited some time back, we lead to the Suma group, then come one Salon.
Yeah.
And now one of the projects then and we get lots of confusion. Some man they say now an extension of the old airport. Some people they say now a new terminal on it only. Go just clarify.
Well, this is a brand new airport. In fact, not so new, I say brand new airport. Because this brand new airport, all the facilities that we get for use the new. Okay? We get a new terminal, new traffic control, new fire service, new taxiway, new presidential terminal. In fact, even the runway, we get for resurface the runway and strengthen the runway. In fact, we expand the runway.
So now they make a new airport?
Yeah, of course, because they're new airport.
So now two existing airports, they now go to Lunge?
So it simply means, say, when this begin to operate, we're not going to use that old facility. Okay, so now they refer to as facility.
Okay.
We're not going to use that old facility there. Because this new airport now going to use for all things. 9 means. So I make I say, a brand new airport.
Okay, we come back to the press secretary, Yusuf Keketoma Sandi. Today na the program, I don't tell listener them, but the different trip them way the presidents don't do for showcase Salon na the world. The most recent one, na the one where President Biogis come out from House of Lords, who say he will make some address and talk about some of the strides the way he don't do for ensure say Salon economy not suffer past mark, especially during the pandemic where be in the world. Before we can look at some of the things the way the president's been talking, just explain, let people understand how that particular trip they come about.
Well, like I say, presidents don't do beaucoup things them. In terms of global leadership, in terms of the reforms that we don't take, na Salon, investments in education, plenty of things them. So all around the world, everybody want for engagement. Everybody want for make share this experience, share this journey. How you take a country in 2018, we obviously not one of the most corrupt countries there. You don't count out the first corruption. I don't make sure say we get laws where they protect women them. We get the Jury Act. We get make sure say we don't abolish the party. Beaucoup in them. So this na part of their engagement in this. So Lord Dola Popat, when are the trade envoy for the UK foreign minister, when in the House of Lords himself, say, he go find back this president can share with we now the House of Lords now. Wait here, how this journey don't go so far. So he do in in partnership with the Africa Leadership Organization. We're one of the biggest organizations there in Africa. We obviously they don't Canada, they look at what in president they don't do, they don't document them, they don't try for make sure say then say if they use them say for me to get African president in 4 years, we don't do them plenty things there. It go find make we support them. So we left na salon around in 19 where presidents go na the UK and they're holding at the UK. This program they're hosting at the House of Lords. But the important thing that's not to just them just want to go hear from president. Now also the fact say people themselves we don't work with president, we don't see what the president do at first hand. Be deep on the program, forgive their own testimonies. So for instance, the Secretary General for the Commonwealth, Baroness Patricia Scotland, when a big person inside the House of Lords, inside the program. The UK Minister for Africa and Development, Andrew Mitchell, self be the program. The former Minister for Africa and Development, UK, Vicky Ford, be the program. Because in don't come this country, first and don't go all around, don't see what the president don't do. So the all be the this program, if we bother it is Elba said be the this program. So it was a very huge program, big opportunity where president gets for sharing story. He talk about his personal story, how he lost his papa at the age of 4. His mama obviously not educated, but he believes in education, where he makes sure say they invest in them. And he talk about say from a village boy, now it's a president.
Okay.
From Sierra Leone, now he addressed the House of Lords. So we tell you say education is powerful and a tool for development, personal development, and national development.
Keke, the ALM African Dialogue says leadership in troubled times have been the topic where they be used for Salon. And President Biona be the guest honor in this particular program. Waiting this mean for their country where other people they feel say no they do well. The president go be the keynote speaker in such people we will consider eminent people in the world, specifically United Kingdom?
Well, it's a big thing. It's a big thing because, like I say, presidents are supposed to get respect around the world. And therefore, make to get this kind of platform, where in fact, the first way we get head of state, when they come we go address and host at the House of Lords. Very few heads of state don't do that one day. So, but it means, say, House of Lords, you need to go there no more. If we would go there for go by the program, then go for search you, check you. So it's a very restricted and strict environment. So it means say if you don't get evidence of what you don't do, if you're not able to show say you don't do something people they know. Now make I tell you say the important thing about the program are the fact say not to just the president go talk. People themselves we don't work with them, we don't partner that we don't see at first hand. Waiting president do be there back for give testimonies. And all them people and they make the thing was very, very unique. And we get engagements them where they be there because not just the Lords they will be there. Lord Popat also invite business people and back, business executives them back will be there back as well. And it's very important. And Africa Leadership Organization, the organization where really they try for make you promote and see African countries the way they really do very progressive for make you promote them.
So apart from President Bill, under the topic Usai Salon be the part of the agenda, we also get the presence of different other government stakeholders from the Ministry of Health, Education, and also the Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs. Waiting them be able for explain or showcase as things that they don't do, we don't transform the sector.
Well, waiting President Bill always don't do that. The fact say, in ahead of station or president. But it gets ministers there. We're very competent, very capable ministers there. We don't perform extremely well. So, for instance, Minister of Gender, for the very first time, we pass an historic bill. We don't do boku for women in this country. The Minister of Basic Education, David Senge, we get high profile positions them across the world. We get the Minister of Mines, we get other ministers, the Minister of Health. Now, the reason being is that because most times the president can get them speech that way to go give, there is always follow up. Because people then get interest in the country, they want to know. So then minister at the contact point, and people every day, we go for engage business people, get them for engage investor there, give them more specific issues, them specific things the way they need, and get follow up. Because that is how we make sure say we translate the visit into actuality. So for instance, like the Vietnam, we will go there, the Ajimex we go there, we now see they invest because of that follow up they will be there.
Keketoma, I just make mention of President Bio in minister them we get now in government. You see. You get very competent minister them. With then competent minister they how they serve under President Bill in government. Why alternate the president need for make appearances? Why in order delegate responsibilities?
Because it's very simple. President now the chief PR person in a country. Because in your confidence when they give somebody, Now confidence for tell you say, can I make country? Where you can make country, you get good investment climate, you get tax reliefs, you get boku in them. And therefore, for many investors, when they get engagement with the president, now the highest point down there for no say, if this president don't tell me say my can country, I get for believe and can this country for can invest. And but the important thing is that you get a president be credible. Because you get president be credible, if you talk to people say can make country, you go believe him. You go see him say you trust him. And I make most of them think they are presidents can do for chauffeurs the country at the highest level. But every year, boku trips they can. If the amount of invite the presidents they get, now they go. Believe me, president go even there. You understand?
But presidents are where say the salon people away they govern, where they go out there for go showcase and try for regain, according in your words, donor confidence again. They don't raise plenty concern but in trip them. And we are aware say in self doyery because now one function as State House the last term, he talk and say yes, he knows say people and they talk about him fly, but he will continue for fly.
Yes, but definitely because like I said to you, people then get two different categories. There are some people who go talk because of politics. There are some people who go talk because they're genuinely concerned. Now, the one where you talk about politics, where you talk about because of politics, then you're not going to change them because if ABC, like I tell you, say ABC post your opposition policy, say President go to New York, go sit down with the UN Secretary General, then go feel bad, say this man so they get Boku limelight so But then one day obviously we can get genuine concern. The only way we can show the result and the benefit of for sure say we go Senegal, we engage Suma they can build brand new airports. We go to America, we engage World Bank. World Bank, they can give you $40 million. We go Paris, we engage Lego Foundation. Lego Foundation, they give you extra $10 million for put by education business, So we get in the whole get for show, we very practical, who don't see, who don't know, and we then make sure say, nothing will go affect your life. So that one the way genuinely legitimate, we get a story for tell and say, then 3 people they make, we're not going to make them because president will go. If they make them because we get strategic benefits what they get from there, we get things that will they derive from there, we go affect ordinary people's life. Now if you can give you an instance because I make mention of the school feeding program. In fact, now when we even go to America, the engagement the president go get with the US government, now I make in fact they also able to support CRS for me to expand the school feeding program. So they tell you say all those engagements they trickle down to the ordinary common people.
Okay, so my colleague be ask you a question where you not be able to answer it. He asks say from where President Bio assume office to now if you're able counting trip that we don't make.
Like I said, we don't make many trips there. You understand? But the importance of them trips then they often just make the trips there. What you are careful doing, I will tell you say in each of them trips then they I go highlight what are the benefits you'll get, because trips them they're into different categories. There are trips that they call statutory trips. We mean say because you're head of state, you got to go UN, you got to go ECOWAS, you got to go AU. So whatever you do, you got to go parent trips then anyways. But there are also trips that way you do when they call state visits. Where because sometimes the Qatari prince is say, this is a good president, so it's transparent, he accountable, you do good. My invite a economic country. Ma see how we go to work together. You understand? For instance, the GP transforming education. Then she say we don't invest boku money and we do very well for education. Then say this president a good man. No call America and can talk to UN about how for transform education. So the trips then different.
Okay, now look the different things way people be doing about a project way for be implemented to some of the international trip the way President be don't do. And one gets for do the Econ Solar Lights project way for being a Bond Village. Take listen and view them how found a particular project say.
Well, Econ Light not for being a Bond Village actually. We will not be ever saying a Bond Village. It different. That be it is Elba program. It is Elba and Shabu Island. So that's different from the Econ. Now it's happening. Most of it will go and trip there. In good faith and goodwill, you can meet investor them, you talk to them, tell them say them kind of country. But like I say, there always have to be follow-ups. And in that follow-ups, then they will again. Now they begin discuss now and talk about the specifics, the detailed things then. So what's happy with this Elba with the Econ Light, okay? This now once they will go na Washington, America. Now in president go get engagement, it is Elba come spoke good nicely about the president, about the country you want to invest in good faith. You understand? But after the follow-up, now waiting can happen, we can realize say the project with for can with the light, it will be customer, it will be very expensive. Okay? So again, we get a choice. the president look and say, just because we can't deliver by this, I can't put my country in indebtedness, I put more debt for my country, or I go just say no. At this point in time, we cannot able to afford for more get the lights there, so therefore more left. So what's happening? President and the government will make a decision in the interest of the country. Say no, yes, they're lights are then fine for you, but at this time we're not able to get the resources and the capability for make sure say we're able to afford the lights there. So more left and for. So now up with the Acon project.
So why, if we're not into certain, no don't get in-depth understanding of some of them projects here, una can still come out and make let the public know say then kind thing here in the pipeline. Then later una say no, it involves a lot. Government not able to afford them.
No, because we president meet with anybody, now we responsibility because of democratic accountability for inform the people and say, president don't meet with Acon, president meet with Idris Elba. And we talk about voting and discuss. Now, that is the first phase. It's the second phase that the fact say, most of the discussion we then get, the good intentions, because all of those discussions they take place with good intention and good faith. How you translate the actions, the aspirations into action now on the ground. Now, sometimes in those discussions, the process will not go meet up either because of the finance arrangements whether around the project or because of other logistical issues. You understand? But other times, we can able to make sure say we meet at a point. So for instance, even the Suma project, we be talk say we need to take any debt. When then starts first, we get discussions here and there, but eventually they agree say yes, this will cost government any debt. So therefore they proceed. So it means say we are talking about human relationship, discussions. Business people one can invest the money, then say go on forget interest. We say got to protect your country. We say no one can add debt for our country. So those two different divergent positions, we will always make compromise. Who say no make? I think so for act in the best interest of the country.
So in terms of then different KPIs, so another answer for the go take or get whatever financial support is good. But how does it help for improve productive capacity for make more way for investor road for let people begin to say salon expand the investment scale?
Yes, we do economic now we got the National Investments Board. That's practical. The National Investments Board now a one-stop shop where you invest or where you left because remember, say most of the investors, the problem with they get out of the countries there, now recipism, bureaucracy, because you get many offices there where you get forgotten all kinds of things. So president don't say, okay, now get one-stop shop, one-stop center. President when they chair the big board, and then the big board then gets the administrative angle where they operate. So that one then now they make sure say, if you get your project, you get anything on this country. You go to the investments board, when I talk about time, they look about the realistic nature of it, and look about how you get for impact on the country, and then try for say, okay, how go translate this project into action or this achieve into action, and then come to the board now for a president stamper. So now part of work we make sure say we try for create an enabling atmosphere for investors then for come and say there is business confidence, there is investors confidence, but above all for make sure say we become the best destination for investors.
Finally, before you left way, on they work towards Salon for become the best tourist destination, business friendly, and try for create an environment. Presently, as it is now, how you could describe Salon in terms of business opportunities, tourists them way for come to the country, and lots more.
Well, I think say we have done extremely well. Okay. The first thing now for restore we country in credibility, for make sure say people get confidence, say this government way they're credible, they're not corrupt, and therefore if I can engage them. Whatever they can engage them with, them go transparent and honest with me. Okay, right. That is first. But secondly, tourism. You see the Bamako rally. Okay, they come up Bamako, then Passia. Hundreds of people they left different countries. They say, okay, we can't end Africa.
Okay.
If you not get confidence in the country, if you not get trust in the security, not get belief in the president of the country, then we can't country. Right, so all this the example of what say we country don't change drastically. We don't rebrand yourself.
Thank you.
And
very
right
much.
now, Salon, now a country for reckon with, now the world.
Thank you very much, Yusuf Keketoma Sandi, Press Secretary in State House. Be there this morning. They explain what President's view in different trip the way don't do and how this will benefit Salon. Well, now they end the program. Good morning, Salon, for today edition. Alex Lawrence Koma and Michael Sambola and them produce the program. DJ Kman give technical support. Usman Kamara and in team na they make una watch we live now Facebook page. Mina Khadija Bangura, they wish you all a lovely day.
And Sapti Kalon, they say blessed week and bye-bye.